Once upon a time in a faraway kingdom, there lived a kind and beautiful girl named Cinderella. She was the daughter of a wealthy and noble man who loved her dearly. Her father was a kind and gentle man, always seeking to make life as happy as possible for his beloved daughter. Sadly, Cinderella's mother passed away when she was very young. After some time, her father married a woman with 2 daughters of her own, hoping to give Cinderella a loving family. At first, Cinderella hoped her new family would bring joy and companionship. But after her father's untimely death, her stepmother and stepsisters revealed their true nature. Her stepmother, Lady Tremaine, was a cold and cruel woman, and her stepsisters, Anastasia and Drizella, were selfish and jealous of Cinderella's beauty and kindness. They treated Cinderella as a servant in her own home, forcing her to do all the household chores: cooking, cleaning, washing, and mending. Despite her difficult life, Cinderella remained kind and hopeful. She worked from dawn until dusk, but she never let her spirit be broken. Her dreams of a better life kept her going. She found solace in her animal friends, particularly the mice and birds, who helped her with her chores and kept her company. The mice, named Gus and Jack, were especially loyal and resourceful, often outsmarting the household cat, Lucifer, who delighted in making trouble for Cinderella. One bright morning, as Cinderella was cleaning the kitchen, a royal messenger arrived in the village with an important announcement. He proclaimed that a grand ball would be held at the palace in honor of the prince, who was seeking a bride. All the young ladies of the kingdom were invited to attend. The excitement in the village was palpable. Cinderella's stepmother and stepsisters were thrilled and immediately began preparing for the event. They ordered new dresses, shoes, and accessories from the best seamstresses in town. Cinderella also dreamed of going to the ball. She approached her stepmother with a hopeful heart and asked if she could attend. The stepmother, with a cruel smile, agreed on the condition that Cinderella complete an enormous list of chores and find something suitable to wear. Cinderella's hope was rekindled, and she set to work, determined to fulfill her stepmother's conditions. As the days passed, Cinderella worked tirelessly, hoping against hope that she might join the festivities. She scrubbed the floors, cleaned the windows, washed the clothes, and did everything she was asked. With the help of her animal friends, she managed to finish her chores. The mice and birds also helped her by fashioning a beautiful dress from her mother's old gown, adding ribbons and beads discarded by her stepsisters. Cinderella was overjoyed when she saw the dress, and for a moment, it seemed her dreams might come true. On the day of the ball, as her stepmother and stepsisters were preparing to leave, Cinderella emerged in her newly refurbished dress. Her stepmother and stepsisters were struck by her beauty and the elegance of the dress. Consumed by jealousy, they tore the dress apart, leaving Cinderella heartbroken and in rags. They then left for the ball, leaving Cinderella alone and in despair. As her stepmother and stepsisters departed for the ball, Cinderella ran to the garden, tears streaming down her face. She felt utterly defeated. But as she wept, a warm and gentle light surrounded her. To her astonishment, her fairy godmother appeared. The fairy godmother, seeing Cinderella's sorrow, decided to help her. With a wave of her magic wand, The fairy godmother transformed a pumpkin into a magnificent carriage. She turned the mice into horses, a rat into a coachman, and lizards into footmen. Lastly, she transformed Cinderella's tattered dress into a stunning ball gown, and her worn-out shoes into delicate glass slippers. Cinderella could hardly believe her eyes. Before sending her off to the ball, the fairy godmother warned Cinderella that the magic would only last until midnight. At the stroke of 12, everything would return to its original form. Cinderella thanked her fairy godmother and, with a heart full of joy and excitement, she stepped into the carriage and was whisked away to the palace. When Cinderella arrived at the palace, she was the picture of grace and beauty. The grand ballroom was filled with guests from all over the kingdom, dressed in their finest attire. The chandeliers sparkled like stars, and the music filled the air with a sense of magic and possibility. Everyone was enchanted by Cinderella, especially the prince. He could not take his eyes off her and asked her to dance. As they danced, Cinderella and the prince felt an immediate connection. They talked and laughed, and Cinderella felt as if she were in a wonderful dream. Time passed quickly, and before she knew it, the clock began to strike midnight. Remembering her fairy godmother's warning, Cinderella dashed away from the prince and fled the palace. In her haste, she lost one of her glass slippers on the staircase. The prince found the slipper and vowed to find the mysterious girl who had captured his heart. The next day, the prince declared that he would marry the girl whose foot fit the glass slipper. He sent his Grand Duke to visit every house in the kingdom. When the Grand Duke arrived at Cinderella's house, her stepmother and stepsisters tried to fit into the slipper, but their feet were too big. The stepmother, knowing Cinderella might be the girl the prince was looking for, locked her in the attic. Gus and Jack, the loyal mice, saw what was happening. They managed to steal the key from the stepmother's pocket and freed Cinderella. She ran downstairs just as the Grand Duke was about to leave. The Grand Duke insisted that she try on the slipper. Fit perfectly. The Grand Duke was delighted and took Cinderella to the palace. When Cinderella arrived at the palace, the prince recognized her at once. He asked her to marry him and she said yes. The wedding was a grand celebration, and Cinderella's kindness and grace won the hearts of everyone in the kingdom. She forgave her stepmother and stepsisters, who were ashamed of their past behavior, and invited them to live in the palace. Cinderella and the prince lived happily ever after. They ruled the kingdom with fairness and compassion, never forgetting the lessons of kindness and perseverance. Their love story became a legend, inspiring generations to come.